Hey guys, kia ora, whakaalofa atu. On this week's podcast episode, I have special guest Ani in the building from Tahui Active. Welcome to the podcast, sister.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so
Yay.
excited.
Yes, and it's Ani's first podcast episode as well. So huge congrats to you for being here, for coming on first podcast. Thank you for blessing us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, Ani is a Māori girl living in Sydney, Australia. She's a mum, the owner of Tahui Active, and I've actually been following you online for quite a while now. I remember finding you in COVID on TikTok, and I was just like, who is this girl? Like, they weren't at that time, I feel like I didn't really know many Māori people in business.
Yeah.
Now I think it's a bit more popular. But I just saw you online doing your thing, being real, being raw, like just doing you. And I was so inspired by seeing you online doing your thing. And then we got to see each other at Promised Land.
Yeah,
So that was a lovely
I know.
surprise. And yeah, I've always wanted to have you on the podcast just to share your story. I know that you will inspire so many women.
Thank you. I know running into you at Promised Land, I was like, oh my God, because I think we'd known each other for years at that point. I
Yeah,
want to say like 2 to 3 years. And so
yeah,
running into each other, I was like, oh my God, and such a big festival as well.
yes,
That was
yeah. It was so good to see you. So, if you can, please introduce yourself to the people.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ani. My full name is Aniwaka. I am from Gisborne, New Zealand. And oh, my mum is from Gisborne, New Zealand, and my dad is from Hamilton. So from all over the North Island, pretty much. I grew up in both Australia and New Zealand. So I was born in New Zealand, then I moved to Brisbane, and then I moved back to Gisborne. And then I grew up in Gisborne. I spent 2 years in Te Awamatu. Then I moved to Sydney when I was 14. So I'm 24 now. So I've been here for around 10 years and I love Sydney. I love the life I've built here. I definitely miss home though.
Yeah.
Miss home. I miss the culture. I did a lot of moving.
Yeah.
I'm definitely used to change.
Now you have your activewear brand, Tahui Active. What inspired you to start Tahui Active?
My mum was the main inspiration to get my brand started because the whole branding is size inclusivity. It was around 2017, 2018 when I started getting into my own fitness journey. And when I started to get into the fitness world and go to the gym, I saw that there was a lot of sort of discrimination against bigger people. So it was always
Mm,
like, you need to be this, you need to be skinny, you need to eat 1,000 calories, you
mm,
need to only wear a size extra small, small. Like there was a lot of discrimination and a lot of just negativity
mm,
with people who weren't skinny. I come from a big Polynesian family. I come from a big Māori family.
yeah.
The majority of the women in my life are big women.
Mm,
And it doesn't take away from their beauty, it doesn't take away from their knowledge or their skills. Like my mum has multiple degrees, but because she's not a size extra small, she's
mm,
viewed as worthy or valuable. And I sort of just wanted to change the narrative around that story. At the time, there was a few brands who were only doing up to a size 16, 18.
mm,
And I was like, and she was a 2022 at that time. And I
mm,
was like, well, there's this narrative that bigger people, they're not healthy, they don't want to go to the gym, they're lazy, they don't want to do anything with their lives, they just want to sit up bed, eat and rot. I
mm,
was like, that's not the narrative at all.
mhm,
That's if anything, it's the opposite. And I was like, well, what can I do to be the solution to their problem? That was a big thing. Like, how can I help my mum, my grandma, my aunties, my friends' aunties,
mm,
my cousins? Like, I come from a big Polynesian family. If I could help them start their fitness journey if they wanted to, this was like
mm,
just if they wanted to. I
yeah.
wasn't pushing you need to go to the gym, you need to do this, you need to do that. I was saying, if you want to start your health and fitness journey, I have this product for you that will
Mm,
help you if you want to. I was just giving them easy access to the things that they don't have access to. And I
yeah,
know that we're still all online, but eventually one day we'll be like in the shops and accessible and in other
yeah,
retailers. But that was the main inspiration around it, was my mum and the lack of resources there were for her
yeah,
to go to the gym. I didn't want my mum to feel uncomfortable going into the gym wearing a big oversized t-shirt and big track pants because that's the only thing that was accessible to her. I was
yeah,
like, no, I want you to go in there and I want you to be confident. I want you to feel beautiful. So let me create something for you that will be a motivating factor for you to want to start being active.
yeah, nice.
So
I love
that's,
that.
yeah, so that was the inspiration behind it.
Yeah,
I was 18 when sort of all of that started happening. I was 18. It took
yeah,
around a year to get like the sampling and everything done. And there's a story that she wanted me to tell you guys. So
yeah,
when
tell
I was
us.
yeah, when I was 18, we're going through the sampling. We weren't living together at the time. We live together now, but we weren't living together at the time. And I messaged her and I said, like, I really want you to model my activewear. And she said no. And so
Mm,
we had a big fight over it because just keep in mind, this was my 18-year-old mindset.
mm,
We had a big fight over it because I didn't understand why she wasn't like, I had this big vision and I had this big dream and I was like, I'm doing this for you.
mm,
She was still in the like, no, you don't understand what it's like for me. And
mm,
it's like for people like me to show up on the internet like that. Like, I
mm,
know you want the representation and I know you want the diversity, but I can't be that person for you because of everything that I've been through and the struggles that I've been through with my weight. And so
mm,
we had a big back and forth. I was like, no, like you're fine, you can do it. And it was just coming from a perspective like, I've never been in her shoes. I've never been the size that she's had, and I've never been discriminated against because of my size. And so I wasn't understanding what she was going through. I think
mm,
that if we didn't have that argument between us, I think that could have set me back a little bit more as well because it made me understand
mm,
that like I know that I'm the size small medium. I've never been a 2XL, 3XL, so I won't know what it's like to feel like her. And so I can't force her into doing something that she doesn't want to do because I've never been in her position. And
yeah.
so she didn't end up modeling for me. But when we, like I say, she didn't end up being modeling for me. But when I took the samples over to her, I was like, look, I'm sorry. I understand that I've never been through what you've been through. I'm not going to push you to do anything that you don't want to do. And but
Mm,
I took them to her house. She tried them on and she loved them. She
yeah.
loved them. She's like, okay, you can take a photo of me now. She was so confident in them and she still has them. She still wears the samples. She
Mm,
has them and she buys every single set because she loves them.
yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. That's so important as well because I've had a very similar conversation with my partner, Metz. When I went through my journey, I used to really hate what I looked like in the mirror. I struggled with my size, my body, and all the things. Since then, I've changed all of that. And that's what my kind of kaupapa is today, is to help women with self-love and body acceptance and all the things. But back then I wanted to lose weight and I thought that losing weight was the solution. And he was like, yeah, well, just eat healthy and go to the gym. Like, what are you talking about? Just do it. Like, as if it was just this simple thing,
Yeah.
because he's never really gone through that in his life. And I was like, no, you don't understand, trying to explain it to him. And he will never get it. And still to this day, he doesn't get it. He tries to get it, or he tried to get it in the past. But I would always try, like, I would kind of put it on him, and then it was over time where I was like, I need to figure it out for myself. But I think that's very important for other people to realize, because sometimes there are people like, you see people talking about their weight and struggling, and, people who have never been in their position will give them some advice that really isn't helpful. So it's having that
Yeah.
compassion and stepping into their shoes as well.
exactly. And I think that there's so many different stories and there's so many different perspectives that people have, but if you haven't been in the shoes of that person,
Mm,
it's hard to talk on it.
yeah,
Like, it's not like you can just go to the shop straight away, get activewear, and go straight to the gym.
yeah.
It's more than that. And then it comes to mindset because I feel like women, especially, have been conditioned to think they need to be a certain way
Mm,
to do things in their life. Like, and especially when it comes to your weight, it's like, no, you can't wear that until you're a size 8. Then
yeah.
you can wear it. You won't be
Mm,
able to wear this until you're this size. And I think it's worse as well. Like sometimes me and my mum will have a conversation and she will give herself incentives. She'll be like, when I lose 10 kilos, then I'll do this. And I'm like,
mm,
I love you so much. Please stop putting value on your weight, on your
mm,
weight loss. Like value yourself now and
mm,
towards that because it comes back down to mindset and self-love as well. And I think something I really try to push with the brand is at first it was like self-love, you need to love yourself,
mm,
mm, pretty much every aspect of self-love and what there is.
mm,
I think it has transitioned now into more of loving yourself, loving your past self, loving yourself
mm,
that you're in now, loving yourself when you are so sad and so tired, you just want to lie in bed all day.
mhm,
Yourself then, loving yourself at the peak when you put makeup on, you go and drink with your friends, your family, or you spend time with your family, loving yourself then. And I think
mm.
like loving yourself at every stage of life that you're in.
I actually did a post on this yesterday. It was like only when I'm wearing makeup or I have a filter on or I'm in my
Yeah.
best dress, I'm like, I love myself. But it's like you said, loving yourself at every moment in your life. You're crying, you're upset, you're whatever. It's just, self-love is loving yourself unconditionally. It's just
Yes.
a
It's
full, yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
unconditional love for yourself. And I think when I started it when I was 19, I don't think I had any life experience,
Mm,
like any proper adult life experience. So in the mind that I had then, it was like, well, why can't we just love ourselves? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand like why we can't just love ourselves. And now that I've gone through all that I've gone through, it's like I need to learn to love myself in that stage and then in this stage and now this stage and
mm,
wherever I'm going to be. It's
yeah,
not just it's I think a part of self-love is acceptance as well.
yes,
Acceptance of your past and acceptance of your mistakes and your goals and success and just everything. I think that's a big part of self-love as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I am transitioning the brands now that I've gone through all that I've gone through. And I'm probably going to have so much more life experience as well. But
Yeah.
with what I have now, I think I'm definitely transitioning the brand into more of a if you if you want to stay at home and cry all day, then stay at home and cry all day.
Mm,
It's not like a toxic positivity where it's like, it's okay, babe, just get up, go
yeah.
read a book, go have a shower, go for a walk. No,
Yeah.
if you want to cry, if you want to sit
Mm,
and cry all day, then you sit and cry all day and you try again the next
mm,
day. And I
yes.
think that's what like accepting emotions is as well, is like that's all a part of self-love.
Yeah.
Like just accepting acceptance.
Yeah. Absolutely, self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Yes, I love this corridor. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
You talked about you've gone through some things in life. And one thing I think I read or I might have watched a post of yours, you were doing a photo shoot. I think it was your first photo shoot for Tahui Active, and then you found out you were pregnant,
Yeah.
and you were 19 years old. So I would love if you want to share that story, share kind of what went through your mind at that time?
Fear. I was so scared. I was so, so, so scared. So we had all the sampling. I just spent a year prepping the brand, doing all the back ends, getting all the sampling and the production and setting up our lounge room because it was all in our lounge room at the time. Setting up the lounge room and on our launch day, literally the day that we launched, which was the 4th of October, I had set up this big party. Me and my best friend at the time, we were like, let's have a big launch party. We'd seen all these huge brands and we're like, why not? Let's have a launch party.
Mm,
And so we got all the boxes in. We put 18 heavy boxes on the shelves, unloaded them, counted them all, and then we were getting ready for the party. And my partner at the time was like, no, like, I think you're about to consume your body weight in alcohol.
mm,
I think you need to do a pregnancy test. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'll be fine. So I didn't end up doing the pregnancy test. And then we were doing our makeup. And my friend was like, oh, I have a spare pregnancy test in here. Do you want to do it just so he can leave you alone? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I did it. I put it in the bathroom. I walked out of the bathroom and I continued to do my makeup. Oh no, I continued to unpack because we hadn't started the makeup just yet. She had just seen it in her makeup box. Anyways, I go to start doing my makeup. I was like, oh, let me just go check the pregnancy test. I walk into the bathroom and there was like two bright blue lines. I was like, no, you're kidding me. You're actually kidding me. Like I was only 19 and
mm,
I dropped to the ground. I started crying. I was like bawling my eyes out on the floor. And it's like my whole life had just flashed in front of me because I had such, well, I still do. I had big dreams and I was like, this was not on my 2019 vision board.
yeah.
Pregnancy was not on my 2019 vision board. And so seeing those blue lines come up, it was just panic.
Mm,
I just started panicking and I was like, well, how am I going to continue my career? How am I supposed to build a brand,
mm,
have a baby? It was just pure fear.
yeah.
I knew that I was 19 and I think that I come from a long line of women who had kids real young as well. And so I saw how difficult it is
Mm,
to raise kids, especially in this economy, and especially
mm,
away from my extended family, because all of
mm,
my family live in New Zealand. All of my extended family live in New Zealand. So it was really hard for me to accept that I was going to be a parent. It took me a really long time, and I feel like people don't talk about that as well,
mm,
about how hard it is to accept something that you initially like don't want to do or don't want. I
mm,
never had any thought about a termination or like I knew I was going to go ahead with it, but I was just really scared because I knew how hard it was and
mm,
I really wasn't ready to be a mother and I don't think anyone is at 19.
mm,
Yeah, so accepting motherhood was really hard and I didn't want to be a mother at the time because I wanted to be a business girly. Like
mm.
I wanted to build my brand and I didn't think that I was ready and I didn't know how I was going to do it. But I'm glad I have her now. Like I love her.
Yeah.
She's my little best friend and I definitely wouldn't change it for the world. But I
Yeah.
think there's like I don't see many people talking about not wanting to be a mother.
Mm,
And I think, yeah, and it took me a long time. Like I was excited, but I still had the doubts in the back of my mind. Like, I don't, how am I going to do this? Like,
yeah.
how am
Yeah.
I going to be a mother
Yeah.
and build like the empire that I want to build and do the things I want to do? And now, like, all my money has to go to this child. And I have to, and now I'm like, all I wanted to do was invest in my business and get more products. And
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck am I going to do this? Sorry, just well. I was like,
Yeah.
how am I going to do this? And it was just really scary. And so I spent like the next 9 months worrying.
Yeah.
I was like, just worrying about how I was going to do it.
Mm. What would you say has been your biggest struggle in motherhood?
Um, everything. I don't think there's a single part of motherhood that's easy.
Yeah.
Maybe when they go to sleep. Um, the hardest, like for me to choose the hardest part of motherhood, I think it's accepting that I'm a mother now
Mm,
and accepting that like my dreams and my future is still there, but for the moment I have to put my entire life on pause
mm,
to look after, to raise another little human.
yeah.
I think that was a struggle for me trying to be the best mother that I could be to my daughter, but also trying to be the best business person and show up for all the women that I had like promised to show up
Mhm,
for
mhm.
prior to my pregnancy.
Yeah.
But like I still wanted to be that girl and I still wanted to be a mother and I really struggled and I still do struggle with it and
Mm,
I really struggled with wearing both hats.
yeah.
And it comes really overwhelming because then there's the side of me that's a mother, there's the side of me that's a business person, a businesswoman, and then there's me
Mm,
as well.
yeah.
So it's wearing so many different hats has been difficult for me in my motherhood journey.
Mm,
Also, my baby she was a hickey baby. She was so clingy.
mm.
She still was so clingy. She didn't start sleeping until she was 3. Or like sleeping through the night till she was 3 years old. And she just turned 4.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So she was still waking up at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
She when I split from her dad, she was very clingy to the both of us because now we started to co-parent. She didn't get to see us each like a week at a time.
Mm,
And so now she started to become very clingy. Like she won't let anybody else help me. My dad will try and help me. She's like,
mm.
no, my mummy will do it for me. And so having a clingy baby was really hard as well.
What's some advice you would give to some women who are starting their co-parenting journey?
Oh, this one. I feel like this one is circumstantial. Like it
Mm,
depends on your circumstances. I'm very lucky that my daughter's dad is heavily involved in her life. So he
mm,
really fought to have 50-50. He takes her, we do swaps every single Sunday, and he is such an amazing parent to her. We only started co-parenting civilly after 2 years. So
mm,
we split 3 years ago, and I think it took around 2 years for us to be on a proper co-parenting journey.
mm,
And I think what what I really had to let go of was ego,
mm,
my ego and my attachment around being a mother,
mm,
because I felt very less about myself because I wasn't like other mothers and I had to give my baby, in my mind, I had to give my
mm,
baby away for a week. So I was less of a mother. And so
mm,
in me thinking like that, I fell into like, I struggled with my mental health
mm,
around that time, around that co-parenting time. I also struggled with postpartum depression after she was born as well. And so then splitting with her dad, it sort of just like rigmarolled and got worse
mm,
in co-parenting because I was already on a downward spiral. And now that in my, I know it now. I know now that I never lost her.
mm,
But in my head then, it was like, I've just lost my baby. I didn't get to see her for a week. I would spend the 7 days that I didn't have her just crying.
mm,
I was like, I'm not a mother. Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
mm,
I had a big attachment and a big ego around what it is to be a mother
mm.
or what we've been conditioned to think a mother should be.
Yeah.
Like she has a dad.
Mm,
No one would say to a dad like, "Oh, you don't see your kid for 7 days."
yeah.
Nobody says that to dads. Oh, they do. But in like if you switch it around, it's more heavily looked down on when mothers do it opposed
Mm,
fathers do it. And so letting go of that attachment to what a mother should be really helped me, because I'm like, well,
Mm,
no, you've just spent what, the last 2 years upset because you wanted to be a business girl. Go and be a business girl now.
mm,
Like, go and do that. So I was stuck like wearing different hats and then not knowing which hat to wear at which time.
mm,
I really struggled with.
yeah,
And it was a really bad time.
yeah,
So and then when he got a girlfriend the
mm,
first time he ever got a girlfriend, it was just a shit show. I would not put that on my worst enemy. That
yeah,
whole experience, it was his fault and it was my fault as well. So there was two sides to it. And because we had just split, it was, I want to say it was a lot of ego and again and a lot of attachment to motherhood. And she didn't help it make it any better. But now that he has another girlfriend, her coming into my daughter's life, I really had to let go of my attachment to what a mother is again.
yeah,
Because if I just kept having this mindset, it was never going to go away. Like, I was never
mm,
going to be better. I was never going to feel better. It was like I had to let go of this attachment to what a mother should be and
yeah,
just know in my heart and in my life that I am my daughter's mother,
mm,
and that's it.
yeah,
There's no requirements of
yeah,
what a mother should be or should do.
yeah,
There is no requirements and there's no limitations. And so just because she has another woman in her life doesn't make me any less of a mother. Just because
mm,
she goes away at weeks at a time, oh, 1 week at a time, again, doesn't make me any less of a mother, because there is no requirements of what a mother should be. Like, I
mm,
can be both. And
yeah,
I'm very lucky, and I'm in a very lucky position as a single mother to
mm,
have such a good co-parenting relationship right now, because now I know that I can do that. And
mm,
he is amazing with her. She is amazing with her. There's lots of boundaries and there's a lots of
good,
communication now as well.
yeah,
Before there wasn't any communication.
yeah,
And I think that was also purely the fact because I was stuck. I was stuck in my own ego.
mm,
And I couldn't come to terms with that. We needed proper communication. I just needed to let it go,
yeah,
because I was 100% most of the problem when it came to our co-parenting relationship.
yeah,
It was mostly me holding on to a certain standard that I thought I needed to hold on to.
yeah,
And so once I let that go, everything was fine.
yeah,
And so
wow,
now, yeah, so now we have proper communication. We've apologized to each other for our past mistakes and what we put each
mm,
other through in that time. And I have a very good relationship with his girlfriend now. And
good,
me and Harlem got her a Mother's Day gift, like just a little gift just to
nice,
say thank you. And I think to have a healthy co-parenting relationship, you need to let go of everything that you've ever learned before, everything that you've ever seen before,
mm,
of what parenting is, or
yeah.
motherhood is, or fatherhood is. And yeah,
That's huge. I love that. I love like you like the self-awareness, like, oh,
yeah,
it was me. And I had
yeah,
to let go of my ego and I had to unlearn all these things. Like that's huge. And I
yeah,
think from an outsider looking in, if you look at a lot of co-parenting relationships that don't work, it probably is those two things, the ego and the lack of communication.
yeah. Lack of communication is huge. And I also, because my parents split when I was very young as well,
Yeah.
and they have never, ever, ever had a healthy co-parenting
Mm,
relationship, like ever. And I'm 24.
yeah.
Like, they never had one, and I just seen the effects that it has long term on children, on me,
Mm,
on my brother. And I see the long term effects in the, well, he should have done this better, and then it's no, she should have done this better. I
mm,
think if, like, love yous both, because I know you're both going to watch this, but I think if they had of just let go, let
mm,
go of the past, accept what happened, accept that there's no requirements in what a mother or a father
mm.
should be, Do you know what I mean when I say the requirements of what a mother or father should be?
Yeah,
Like in this
absolutely.
context, in this context,
Yeah,
because society says like a mother is this, this, and this, and
yeah,
this, and you have to do this, and you have to be this, and if you're not with your baby 24/7, what are you doing? Like,
yeah,
that's what I mean when like let go of the requirements that society has put on you
yeah,
being a mother. And so I
yeah,
think that if they had of let that go as well and had proper communication, then maybe I would have had a different outlook on co-parenting as well.
yeah.
But now that, yeah, I just didn't want my daughter to go through what me and my brother went through. And I wanted
Mm,
her to have just a healthy living system. Like we don't talk bad about each other to her.
good.
We don't talk bad about anything to do with
Mm,
our past relationship to her. Or
mm,
we broke up when she was so young. She doesn't even realize that we were together at one point. So
mm,
yeah, just keeping those boundaries and not trying to alter her mind around like what happened in our relationship.
yeah. Nice. I love that so much. That's huge. You have openly talked about like your mental health journey online and things like
Yeah.
that. So I'd love to know if you could share a little bit about that journey and how it has impacted your life.
After our baby was born, I did go through postpartum depression. And so navigating that, plus navigating motherhood, plus navigating um, a business,
Mm,
I I wasn't doing very well.
mm,
But I was very good at masking the fact that that I was okay because I
mm,
was still happy,
mm,
but I was struggling. And it's so hard to explain because like when I was around people, when I was with people, I was so fine.
mm,
But it's like the moment I was by myself, it's like I had so many thoughts in my mind and I didn't know what to do. And it was really hard. And I didn't know, like, I didn't want to brush my hair. I didn't want to look after my baby. I just wanted to go in bed and sleep all day.
mm,
And then 2020 comes around. I did this TikTok video of our journey so far. And I was so proud of our journey at that point. And that TikTok blew up. And I think we got like 600,000 views on that TikTok. And
mm,
then everything sold out. I think that was like the very peak of, at the time, of
mm,
Tahui. And so it's like I didn't have time to process what I was going through either. Because I was just packing orders and looking after Harlem, trying to maintain momentum, trying to
mm,
order in new products, trying to do everything. And I was really, and I just every single day I just push down my emotions and push down what I was going through because I was like, look, this isn't my priority right now.
mm,
I don't have any time to focus on my mental health right now. I just need to get this done. And then it got so hard to a point where I was like, if I don't address this right now, I will lose my mind.
mm,
And then I didn't address it. I was like, look, I just don't have time to address what's going on right now. I've got so much to do. I just refused to because I felt like I had so many more important things to do than worry about what was going on up here. Like I just didn't,
mm,
in my mind, I just didn't have the time. And I was like, no, like you've pushed through for so long, you can keep pushing through, just keep going. You have
mm,
so much to do. Because like I was growing on TikTok at the time, our Instagram was growing, our engagement rates were so good, so I had to keep up with the engagement,
mm,
momentum, and the consistency. And I had to also be a mother, and I was like, look, I just don't have any time. I don't
mm,
have to address what's going on. Um, and then it got so bad, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to be in my relationship anymore. It's not working. We're two different people now. I think it's time to let go of the relationship and just move on and focus on my business and growing as a person because we've been together since I was 16 and we
mm,
broke up when I was 21. So we're together for quite a long time. And so I was like, I don't know who I am as a person. Maybe this will help in sort of my mental health and acknowledging acknowledging that there's a problem.
Yeah.
Um, so when we split, I was like, okay, now I'll just focus on myself. I'll heal myself. I'll go through all the things that I need to go through to address my mental health and get myself better in a better headspace. And it'll
Mm,
help me with the business and my baby. And then it just went on downhill from there. Um,
mm,
yeah, so there was a lot of conflicts after we broke up. There was a lot of conflict after we broke up, a lot of back and forth. Long story short, there were some legal issues.
mm,
Um, and so with my intentions to go on my healing journey, really take care of myself, take care of Harlem, my baby, and care of the business went out the window.
mm,
And I just spiraled. I just lost my mind after that.
mm,
And I can barely remember any of the things that happened. Like that was when we split up. I just assumed I'd have her full time.
yeah.
I really didn't think that he was going to fight for her the way that he did. Like I'm so happy and I'm so proud
Mm,
that he did, and I'm happy that like I'm very lucky to be in a position where um my daughter's dad wants to be in her life. I'm very lucky to be in that position. I just thought I would have her full time. And so when we split and then he's like, no, I want 50-50. I was like, wait, what?
mm,
And so what I thought was going to help me heal or address certain parts of my mental health that I didn't have time, that I didn't think I had time to address before, just doubled down and made it worse because in my mind I had just lost my daughter. Like
mm,
I couldn't see her, and so I couldn't handle the fact that I couldn't see her once a week. And there was a period when we were fighting that he wouldn't let me speak to her. So he wouldn't answer the phone and I couldn't speak to her and I couldn't see her for a whole week. And so my mental health just spiraled. And then we went through legal conflicts as well, or potential legal conflicts where there was potential for one of us to get 100% custody.
mm,
That's all I'm going to say on it. There was just potential for one of us to get 100% custody. And that whole time, I just lost my mind.
mm,
I wasn't functioning. I was like, oh my God, like, what if I lose my daughter all the time now? And
yeah.
so I just, I just spiraled. I was going out a lot. I was drinking away my problems.
Mm,
And that went on for, I want to say 6 or 7 months.
mm,
For 6 or 7 months, my TikTok started going down because I had such a niche of what I was doing
mm,
on TikTok. Then it switched over to like, it's like when my brain switched over, my content started to switch over as
yeah.
well. And everyone's like, girl, this is not you. Like, why are you posting like this? Like, why are you like, this is not what you usually post. Like, just go back to posting what you were posting before. But I was in such a different mindset and headspace that I couldn't do it. And I was looking for validation and everything because I just lost my partner. I just lost I was going to lose my baby. I was like, I need something to help me feel good. And so, like, I was just searching for validation in all the wrong places. And so, once that 6 to 7 month spiral was over, then my healing journey started. And it was a really tough time because I just didn't want to acknowledge the fact that I was going through something.
Mm,
And I didn't want to acknowledge that something was wrong. Something was wrong with me. And my actions were having a domino effect on everything else in my life. Like that's when Tahui really started to take a dip in consistency because I was too focused on things that didn't matter because I was just trying to run away from the fact that I had problems that I didn't want to
mm,
acknowledge. And so
yeah.
once I started doing that, I went celibate. Um, I got very heavy back into my spirituality that I'm love. And so yeah, celibacy was like the big thing. Um, I did a lot of shadow work, a lot of journaling. I did a lot of isolation therapy. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
I used to just lock myself in my room on the weekend and turn off my phone. So I wouldn't have that fear of FOMO of missing out
Mm.
and not want to go out because I knew like half the problem was me, or was my fear of missing out on what's outside, but I wasn't addressing what's going on inside. And so I
Mhm.
used isolation therapy where I just locked myself in my room
Yeah.
and I'd buy myself takeaway and watch movies all night and cry because I felt so alone.
Yeah.
And I think that was like one of the best things I've ever done. Like it took a long time. I want to say I did that for about 6 or 7 months, just
Yeah.
every weekend that I didn't have her. I would just lock myself in my room because I knew that if I went out, it would just all start again.
Yeah.
And I'd start feeling lonely again. And I'd just have to restart. So I was celibate for 13 months. So I went like a whole year and a bit of my celibacy. I'm not celibate now, but um I just refrain from it. Like if I don't want to do it, I don't do it. But
Yeah.
I think diving deeper into my spirituality and finding validation in knowledge instead of getting validation from other people, I turned it into wanting to know the most. And that's how I would validate myself is like having all this knowledge,
Mm.
um, reading all these books and applying them to my life. And I turned from the external validation into internal validation.
Mm.
So I started reading self-help books. Atomic Habits really helped me.
Nice.
Um, The Psychology of Money. I've watched 101 YouTube videos on, self-transformation and to build your business, you have to build yourself type of vibe.
Mm.
Yeah, type of vibe. So
Oof, I love that.
yeah, so I think my mental health is definitely in a different place because I isolated myself with my thoughts and my feelings, and I just had to move through the emotions. I just had to feel them and let them go.
Yeah.
One thing I learned in my spiritual journey was everything is energy.
Mm.
Everything is energy. And so the energy, the hostile and the sad and the angry and the violent energy that was sitting inside of me was through everything that I went through.
Mm.
I just had to feel all of it and then let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I love
And
that for you.
it
That's
was
really cool.
hard. It was absolutely one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. And I felt like I was fighting for my life half the time. Like I
Mm.
would lie in my bed and I would hyperventilate. I've gone through like four, these are all my little journals. I've
Nice.
gone through four journals because I just knew that I needed to write down everything. I don't struggle with the past now. I think now
Yeah.
that I struggle with the future. Like, what
Yeah.
am I going to do now? Like, that's where a lot of my anxieties are, is like in the
Mm.
future.
Yeah.
But through my like spirituality, I've learned the the law of attraction, the law of detachment. So
Nice.
knowing what I want and then just letting it go.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
everything is energy. Anything that I put out in the world, I'm going to get straight back. So I started doing like, I don't really do affirmations.
Yeah.
But if I do something wrong, I'll be like, wow, you're so talented. And like if I do something right, I'm like, wow, you are so good at your job. Like just little things like that. I started in,
Yeah. Good.
wow, you're a star. You are
Yes. Good. I
you
love
are
that.
you are so good at this, literally. So just like little tiny things. And I see a lot of people say like you just have to be 1% better every day. And so that's what I started doing. I want to say at first it was like 0.5% better. And then
Yeah.
times it was like, you know what, I'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just moving through the stages
Nice.
and
Awesome. I am mindful of time. We have a few more questions, but I might try do them like quick fire.
sorry,
If
I'm a
you
yapper.
do,
I'm
no, that's it's good. It's good. But if you want to try do them like quick fire, like maybe like one sentence answers or
okay.
something like that. So what's a piece of advice you have for somebody wanting to start a business?
Um, research. Do as much research as you can.
Mm,
The type and really knuckle down on what you want to do before
mm,
you go ahead and do it. I think a lot of my problems was I did a lot of things on impulse
mm,
and what I thought people wanted, but
yeah,
really you have to, depending on the brand, you have to find your niche, find your target audience, market to that target audience because just like with a clothing brand, I can't I wouldn't I'm a woman's clothing brand, so I wouldn't market to men.
yeah.
So I had to like be very distinct, very specific on what I
Mm,
was doing. So I
mm,
think people will give like the advice on mindset and like change your mindset and don't feel fear.
yeah.
Those are very good advice that you could get anywhere. But I feel
Mhm.
like the advice that I wish I had when I was first starting was really research before you impulse. If you're going to do product based, really, really, really research your manufacturers, message people with clothing brands. Message me if you want to message me if you have a clothing brand.
Nice.
Message you because you did a product base as well. Just do your research before you go all in because you
Mm,
really need to have a specific thing that you want to do. Because if you invest into a business, into yourself, into a business, just to invest into a business and say you have, it's not going to go as smoothly as you want to go. And like
mm,
the content and the marketing that you're going to do isn't going to be as smooth because it's going to be all over the place. So you really need to knuckle down what you want to do, niche it,
mm,
find your target audience for that specific niche, and then learn, research, and learn how to market your brand, whether it's Facebook ads, whether how to do, whether how to utilize Instagram, TikTok,
mm.
Reels, because there's like different algorithms and there's use
Yeah.
this trending audio, use this like do a whole lot of research into how to utilize Instagram and TikTok before you start,
Mm.
really before you
Yeah.
start, and learn all the knowledge on marketing as well. Because
Yes.
marketing is the
Marketing.
biggest, marketing makes me want to
I wish I knew marketing, like how important marketing is for business, because I had no idea. And then I started my business and I was like, oh, I wish I invested more into marketing instead of everything else. I was
yeah.
like,
So
I
if
got to marketing, I was like, damn, I should have spent more time here, which you learn along the way, but
yeah, what you learn along the way, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Do your research now
Yeah.
on how to market because if you
Yeah.
go, you have this big good idea, but you don't have a market to, you
Yeah.
don't have an audience or a market to sell your product to or your service, it's not gonna work out for you because
Yeah.
there's no market there.
Yeah.
And also don't listen to people who say like any business is oversaturated.
Yeah.
Every
Oh,
single industry is oversaturated. Who cares? Who cares? If you can
yes.
market your product properly, if you can market yourself and your product properly, who cares if the market is oversaturated? It is
Yeah.
never ever oversaturated. They're just telling you that because they don't want you to be in there with them.
Yes. I love that. Awesome. Speaking of marketing and business, business has like its ebbs and flows, right? You have a drop or a launch. Sometimes it pops off, you sell out. Sometimes it sells very slowly. Sometimes you don't sell at all. So how do you and have you had moments where things have sold out and things haven't? And how do you overcome that as well and not just give up?
Um, this one's gonna be so hard with a one-liner. So I've had collections that popped off that I really didn't think were gonna pop off. Like these sweaters and everything,
Yeah, I've got that.
they
I
popped
love it
off.
so much.
Our hoodies that we had popped off. And I think I was giving, like, it goes back to what people want. Like
Mm,
the products. I spent 20 grand on an activewear product. Oh my God, I don't even want to talk about that. That flopped because it's what I wanted to put out. It's not what people wanted.
Mm,
And so you're losing money by not doing your research properly.
mm,
And so I feel like once you have your branding and your community sorted, a few years later, they will buy whatever you want them to buy. But at the start, you need to be simple and you need to give them a product that they want.
mm.
And I know, like, I think people compare it to a whole lot of bigger brands that have like these very out there designs and very colorful and very vivid. And
Yeah.
so that's what I did with one of my collections, but it's not what people wanted to see from me. And so it flopped. And
Mm,
all the basic, the simple, I just had a sports bra with Tahui on it. People, half the time people don't buy the product, they buy your brand.
yeah.
But if they don't like the product, they're just not going to buy it.
Mm,
So I think it does, like, it comes back down to researching what your market wants from you. Like,
no.
not, and I learned the hard way that not a lot of people liked bright colors and they didn't
Yeah.
wear two colors because I think the product in itself is so amazing.
Yeah.
It's the colors of it.
Yeah.
And black is always a top seller, but when you, especially with my market, it was harder to sell the color, like more brighter colors.
Mm,
And now I
yeah.
know that brighter colors is not what my market wants. I'm probably never going to do that ever again.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
it, instead of giving what you think your market wants or your community wants, you need to give them what they want.
Yeah.
You just ask them in your reels, ask them in a video, do your research on what your particular market buys,
Yeah.
and then just go from there and start your business from there. Don't spend your money on collections that you want. It
Yeah.
doesn't
That's
work
so
out
true.
well.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you mentioned as well, like you learned from it. Like it was a like it was a costly mistake, but you learned from it. So that's good. What's a piece of advice you have for somebody who's going through a breakup?
Everything, everything comes and goes. Just feel what you're feeling now. If you have the canon event where you need to go out and get validation from other people and you feel like shit and you need a drink, it's a part of life. Just go and do it. Go
Mm,
and drink away your problems. Go and go and drink away your problems. Go and kiss other people if that's what you need to do. And then
mm,
feel your feelings and let it go. Because I feel like people who say, like, you just have to feel your feelings straight away. It's not that linear.
yeah.
Like, breakups are so hard and you've been with a person for so long, you just want that outside validation.
Hmm.
I feel like you need to go and feel like, or you need to go and feel what it feels like to get outside validation to know that's not what you need,
Yes.
because that's what you think you need. And you're not going to heal if that's what you think you need. So you
Mm,
need to go out and feel what it feels like to get outside validation, realize this is the worst feeling in the world. That's not what I want to feel. And then your healing process starts. That could start after 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year.
yeah.
Healing is very linear.
Absolutely.
There's healing.
I agree with that so heavy. Like you have to go through the journey of
Yeah.
what you're feeling. And for me, my first heartbreak I had, it was years. It took me years of going out. It was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like, and it was
Period.
years of that. And it was, yeah, trying to get outside validation, trying to,
Yeah.
all the things. And it's like I actually look back and I'm like, I'm glad I went through that because I went through all of that to realize, no, that's not what I want. Yeah. And I need to work on myself and I need to validate myself and I need to, all the things. So it's that journey and trust it.
No. And I feel like, I don't know if that's good advice, but I feel like people don't
Yeah.
talk about the fact that when you break up with someone, you do seek the validation that they
Mhm.
gave you from someone else. And in
Yeah.
order to realize that's not the right thing to do, you have to go through it first.
Yes.
And so all of my friends who have gone through breakups, it's just like an automatic thing that happens, is that our bodies just look for the comfort in somebody else.
Mm.
And once they realize it's not out there, it's in ourselves. That's when the healing journey starts. And you can't really give a time on when your healing journey starts. Like, I think it took me a year too. It took me like a year and a half. And
Mm,
everyone is different. And they're gonna judge you regardless of your actions and your behavior. But you need to go through that to be able to be where you want to be. Like, I'm
mm,
so happy that I went through, like, I don't regret anything. I wouldn't change anything of my past because at one point or another, we're all going to go through it. We're all going to go through it. So I'd rather it happen then than it's happening now, because now I can look back and be like, that needed to happen for me to be in this clear mind.
mm,
But the moment you start pushing and pushing, it just gets worse. But it's you determine when you're ready to start healing. Because I can tell
yes.
you, girl, you're losing your mind. You need to start healing, but it's not my life.
Yeah, it's on you. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's
I love that so much. Thank you. Last question is, what's the hardest life lesson that has shaped you into who you are today?
Oh, the hardest life lesson. Um, oh, we create our own realities.
Mm.
That's the hardest life lesson I've had to think. We are the creators of our own realities, and the reality that we're in right now is because we've created it. And if you want to live in a different reality, you need to create that different reality.
Oof, that hit me right in the heart. I'm like, yes. I was actually filming yesterday. I was filming my story. And in my story, I said I was like, because my whole life was fucked up, and I had
Mm.
to change it around, right? But it was in the moment where you're at your lowest of lows, you're crying yourself to sleep, you're fucking in fetal position, you think everything's a shit show, and you sit there and you
Ripping
look
your hair out.
around and you're like, fuck. I'm like the common denominator. Like it's on me. Like I'm the reason why my life is this way. And it's like just this, it's like fucked up, but it's also beautiful to sit there and realize, like, oh shit, this is all because of me, but also I'm in charge and I can change this if I want to. So
Yes,
I love that you said that.
that's the hardest life lesson is because we create our own realities. The only reason I had a shit relationship co-parenting was because of me, because I created that reality where it was hostile and there was no communication and I couldn't forgive him for what he did, but I was creating that reality. And so because I created it like that, it was always going to stay like that. So I had to change it and create a whole new reality. So yeah, that's been my biggest life lesson is that every time I feel sorry for myself, I'm like, well, you're only here because
Mm,
this is all you, babe. Nobody, like you are always responsible for your own actions, your own behavior, and your own path. That's like nobody can tell me different. Is that we create our own realities. And so the people who have lack mindsets and oh my God, like poor me, I'm only like this because of this, this, and that.
mm,
It's definitely because people just haven't realized that they create their own reality.
yeah.
Like they can easily get out of that reality. It's a hard mindset to break though. It is
Oh,
a very
absolutely.
difficult mindset to break, and it's like you have to go through one thing to be like, wait, I created this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. What a way to end. I love that so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Honestly, I thought we were going to talk more about business, but I think like this is exactly what was needed. And it's funny because I have recently been having a lot of conversations with women and co-parenting and stuff like that. And although I don't co-parent, I'm very much like, what are you doing in this situation? Like, where can you take
Yeah.
responsibility? So for someone who's actually gone through it to come on the podcast and literally say, yo, check yourself, check your
Yeah,
ego, have the
yourself.
communication, look within. I love that so much. Where can people find you if they want to? I know so many women will be like, yes, this girl, like she's on fire. So where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. So my Instagram is, oh wait, no, my business Instagram is tahui.active. And then my personal is ani.tahui.
Nice. And I'll link it all below as well.
No, I love this podcast. I thought it was going to be more business too, but I think a lot of business is mindset. as well.
Yes,
So I think it's taken a good turn.
absolutely. Thank you, sis. Thank you for coming on.
See ya.